ABC new installment of Revolutions. 20 records played recently, starting right now with the second album by the Melbourne band Dead Can Dance, although I didn't stay long in Melbourne, but they started here. This is called Spleen and Ideal. It's first press of this record, which is cool. It's very, ethereal, sort of crossover sound between Middle Eastern influences and indie rock. Wonderful record. One of their best, if you're looking into Dead Can Dance, from 1985. Here is a record that was sent to me by Christophe recently. Michel Zacha, Promesse d'Atlantide. Really, really great sort of French chanson record mixed with a little bit of progressive. Revisiting this, it's really, really, really enjoyable. It's a bit like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young if they were French and a bit more progressive. This is from 1976. Wonderful record. Amazing, really. A great record. So the Feelies, band from Hoboken, New Jersey, cult band in the on the indie scene in the 80s, 90s, and this is the offshoot called Young Woo. So Young Woo is basically I don't know how many members of the Feelies play on this. I know that Glenn Mercer plays guitar and backing vocals, and he's the singer of the Feelies. Recorded in Hoboken, New Jersey. This is a Dutch original press, I think. This one. It's called Shore Leave. If you like the Feelies, especially the first album, this is just as good as, if not in some ways more catchy. It's fantastic and it's easy to find, and it's just been reissued last year, I think, with a bonus 7-inch and stuff. But this is an original pressing, Dutch pressing. Young Woo, Shore Leave. Absolutely brilliant record. Brilliant. A bit of an oddity here. This is the very first record by Dan Fogelberg. I listen to everything, including some Americana, singer-songwriter stuff. This is a little bit, singer-song. Well, it's a singer-songwriter album from 1972. Dan Fogelberg is like, a cross between James Taylor and Neil Young and, Graham Nash and someone like that. He's more recent. Well, I was gonna say more recent album. His later albums veer more towards a sort of a brand of generic kind of soft rock, but this is actually quite good. It has soft rock moments, which are very pleasant. I like that kind. So I would recommend this. This you can find for next to nothing. It's quite a good record, actually. If you like James Taylor, for example, the first record, you'd like this. It's cool. Nothing to write home about, but it's a good record. I revisited Fifth Dimension by the Byrds. One of the best records, arguably. The record featuring obviously the anthemic, iconic 8 Miles High. But every song is great, like Fifth Dimension, Mr. Spaceman. There's a cover of Hey Joe. It's one of the best records, really, and there's nothing really bad you could say about the Byrds. I think they're one of the best bands to ever grace this earth, really. Their singles are amazing. Their albums are great. I think this was their third, probably their third record, the second or third record. Really, really amazing piece of music. The Birds. Um, this is a bit of an oddity, and it's interesting, and I love everything about this record. In fact, I think it's a great, great record. This is Richie Havens. It's one of his later albums from 1980, 1980 something. Oh, no, sorry. Excuse me, 1976. I apologize. So it's, Richie Havens doing a bit of sort of AOR and soft rock and yacht rock and stuff like it opened with a cover of "I'm Not in Love" by 10cc, which is amazing. I mean, that's an amazing song, but the cover is amazing. And then it ends with a cover of "Long Train Running" by the Doobie Brothers. Now, I'm going to make a video about kind of music very soon, but this would put you in the mood. Great soul, folk covers of, like yacht rock classics. What's not to love? I mean, this is and I love the sleeve. I think we'll put this as a thumbnail. We'll have to. So Richie Havens, how are we doing for time? 6 minutes. I hope I'm not going too slowly. I've been revisiting a bit of Quintessence of late. Quintessence, English band from the 70s, 60s, 70s. This is their fourth album. It's called Dive Deep. And it's a wonderful, spiritual, new agey rock record. It just puts you into a sort of a floating mood. It's a great little piece of music. And I got this recently, actually. I got this record voucher, this record store voucher, and I went to my local store, and it was on the wall. And I've been listening to Quintessence quite a bit, and so I picked it up. It's an original Australian press. It's not in the greatest condition, but I like this kind of music. It's very deep and spiritual, and yeah, I think a sort of more progressive, new agey kind of music, but great. This is a great Afro psych record. Aye Keta, Remy Kabaka, Abdul Lassisi Amao, and Steve Winwood from Traffic. Great sort of Afro psych, Afro rock record from the late 70s, and just great Afro beats. Lots of moog and sax and flutes, and it's all over the shop. Beautiful psychedelic African. I think James Buttery might have shown this in his last video, Brighter Days, by the Stanton Davis's Ghetto Mysticism. Great sort of soul jazz record, I guess you would say. It's a soul jazz record. This is a reissue on Cultures of Soul from a few years back. Copy 637 out of 1,000. And just really funky, funky soul jazz, beautiful music, really, really, really sunny music, fantastic. And a bit of electric jazz as well, sort of Miles Davis electric jazz. That's cool. I like that. One of the best Californian albums that I can think of is Surf's Up by the Beach Boys. Just like a flawless record. Well, I'd say, except for Student Demonstration Time, which is just awful. But Feel Flows and Take a Lot of Your Feet, even Disney Girls is beautiful. What a song! And the title track, Till I Die. It's a very sort of flimsy. I think it's an Australian press of the records, but it plays great. It's just like a little bit, you know. You can't really put the record in there because it's so. But Surf's Up from 1971. It's up there with the best records of the 70s. Really, great. Psychedelic pop album. Superb. I highly recommend it. In my opinion, one of the best records of the past 20 years, one of the best bands of the past 20 years, is LCD Soundsystem. This is The Sound of Silver, which is flawless. Again, really good record. From the opener, Get Innocuous, Time to Get Away, North American Scum, Someone Great, All My Friends. I mean, like, this is like a greatest hits, really. Finishing off with New York, I Love You, But You Bring Me Down. What an amazing collection of songs by James Murphy, the man himself. I reckon, I think that's the best record. Although the last record they've made, American Dream, is just as good, really. And if you don't know where to start with LCD Soundsystem, you want to get into them, I would start with this or with the last one, American Dream. A lovely kind of soul folk, kind of easygoing records. Lanny Hole, Sundown Lady, very chilled out, kind of yacht rockish, soul folk vibes. She is the wife of Herb Alberts, hence she got a gig for A&M. And of note, she was in the Brazil 66 band with Sergio Mendes, and she does beautiful covers of Tiny Dancer by Elton John and Wherever I May Find Her by Paul Simon. But the whole album just flows nicely. It's a very cheap album to find. She looks beautiful. It's just like one of these things that you could put on occasions and enjoy. Talking about Sergio Mendes, I also play some Sergio Mendes. I played Horizonte Aberto from 1979. One of his best but probably least known records. People know more about his sort of like late 60s, early 70s record, but this is beautiful. It's just jaunty, bouncy, lots of good tunes, MPB, centric, very beautiful. In pressed in Brazil in the spring '79, it says that in Portuguese, beautiful. I'm doing for time, 13 minutes. Okay. The Hollies Butterfly. This is the Australian press of the Psych Classic. The Hollies were the band where Graham Nash was a singer in the 60s, and before he joined Crosby, Stills and Nash, he wrote all the songs of the. This is the best album, the classic. Starts with Dear Eloise, which is a. And it's got the other classic Pegasus. Great. African classic Immigré by Youssou N'Dour. What to say? Superb record from the was it from Ivory Coast, Youssou N'Dour, or Senegal? I never know. Senegal, yes, that's right. From the Senegalese icon, a great album, like just a killer album. If you want to get into, African music, you wouldn't be wrong getting into it through this. A record from a very little known band from the West Indies, Batty Mamselle, I See the Light. These guys are from Trinidad and maybe some other of the islands around. In Trinidad, I think it's a mixed group between Trinidad and in the UK. Lots of steel drum, funky steel drum. So yeah, Afro West Indian. Think maybe like Simon Day, but with steel drums. A great what I call space jazz. Space jazz. What is it? Les McCann, Les. Yes, just really, really cool. Jazz with synth, clavinet, ARP synth, electric piano, really like sort of funky and I think a little bit brooding, and it's got this kind of atmosphere going through. I'm just running out of adjectives to talk about this stuff, people. A record that Anthony Camplone brought to my house a few weeks ago, and I felt compelled to buy a copy because I really like the second side, the Red Barretto, the other road. Side 2 is really like electric jazz. Ahoy, brilliant, great side of music. Really, really funky, amazing. Very highly recommended. Just a couple more, people, and you'll be out of here. I was talking about Los Lobos the other day. This is another Los Lobos record. This is La Pistola y el Corazon, the gun and the heart. So you can see on the picture the gun and the heart. These are songs that are all in Spanish. It's a Spanish only record, and it varies. It varies between a little bit cheesy to really, really beautiful, and I got taken by the second song on side 2. Que nadie sepa mi sufrir. I think you all know this song. If you heard that song, you know it. It's just a very famous song. There. I love the sleeve. I mean, if anything, what a beautiful sleeve. Los Lobos, band from Los Angeles. Amazing musicians, really. Amazing. Just brilliant. And last but not least, an Indian record, Ragapilu by Nikhil Banerjee on the French Disque Espérance original press. Very hypnotic ragas. What can I say? Yeah, one of the pieces that you probably, if you want a few choice pieces from Hindustani music, Indian classical music, that would be maybe a great thing to have. But from the 1970s, from 1978, there you go, Ragapilu. That's all I've got for you, VC. I hope you enjoyed this installment as much as I enjoyed listening to it. I don't know where you watch this. I've got no idea. You're bored or something. Maybe go and listen to some records. I don't even know if I want to make these videos anymore. It's just like, it seems like, who watches? I mean, I hope you take something from this, if anything. Love you all, and Give Me 10 coming soon.